The Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, or PITX, is Stanley Gahete. Stanley, just how busy is it over there?
PIA passengers are now coming in droves here at the PITX, and many bus companies say they are already fully booked today and until tomorrow, Monday, Thursday, but they are still accepting chance passengers. The PITX management said it has been a while since they had this influx of passengers. They are making the most of the Holy Week break to spend time with their loved ones in their hometowns. On Holy Wednesday pre-pandemic in 2019, the passenger count was at 43,000 and about 21,000 last year. While they now allow 100% seating capacity on buses, standing passengers and center seats are still not allowed. There will be no two limited trips on Good Friday, and buses will resume operations on Black Saturday. Some trips to the Visayas were also canceled due to Agaton. The management on Tuesday recorded almost 107,000 passengers, a little lower than Monday's 114,000. The provincial bus area of the terminal allows the entry of passengers on or before their scheduled trip for convenient seating and to avoid crowding near departure gates.
Kasi po may trabaho, hindi makaalis-alis. Ngayon lang po nagkaroon ng time na makapakasyon. Pag ngayon ka lang ang gagawa ng ticket, mahirap, puno na. Buti mayroon pa ako nakuha para tabako na ticket. Paubos na
Fully book na po, hanggang bukas.
Pwede ba magpato?
Depende po sa mga pasaherong gustong magbakasakali.
Pero wala kasigurado.
Wala kasigurado.
Philippine National Police officials and Transportation Secretary Art Tugade inspected the terminal this afternoon.
Today they expect mga 120, 125,000. Ano ang ibig sabihin nun? Ginagamit, pinaniniwalaan ng mga tao.
As of 5 p.m., some 102,000 passengers have gone through the bus terminal, but they keep on coming, most just coming off work, hoping to book tickets home. And that's the latest here at the PITX. Back to you, Pia.
Stanley Gahete there reporting. Well, unlike in bus terminals, fewer people are booking last-minute flights to the provinces or out of the country. Paige Javier is at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport in Pasay City. To give us an update, Paige, how are things there hours before the Holy Week break?
Well, PIA airport authorities expect a lower number of passengers catching a flight home this Holy Wednesday. And that's exactly the scenario we're seeing here at NAIA Terminal 3. There are no longer long lines outside the terminal, and waiting areas are not as packed compared to Holy Monday and Tuesday. Some people here are actually those catching a flight overseas who are overseas workers and are bound for international destinations. You can still see lines, however, at the check-in counters. Data from the MIAA shows domestic passenger volume is going down from a peak last Saturday. They say this is normal based on their experience pre-pandemic times. The expected influx of passengers will be on Easter Sunday as people return home. Majority of local flights have early schedules or have been moved to other terminals. There are also no canceled flights or delays reported so far. As I mentioned earlier, the passengers arriving now are mostly overseas workers or those heading abroad for other reasons. Back to you, Pia.
Paige, did authorities also inspect the NAIA, and what did they say?
Yes, Pia, there were two surprise inspections here at the NAIA Terminal 3 earlier today. First was Transport Chief Art Tugade. He went here earlier this morning and he identified several problems after making the rounds in the terminal. First, he hopes that airport authorities could add more personnel at the entry points and lessen the number of choke points that are causing the long lines. And just a few minutes ago, before we went live at the newscast, PNP Chief Leonardo Carlos also made the rounds in Terminal 3. He was checking the security situation here on Holy Wednesday. Airport authorities earlier said they are prepared for the major influx of passengers this Holy Week. Among the measures in place are tight security with guards going around and assistance desks attending to passenger concerns. Pia.
Paige Javier there reporting live from NAIA in Pasay City. No operations for some railway lines beginning today to give way to their yearly maintenance activities. For MRT3 authorities, this week is also a time to hold training on crisis response. Our Caroline Bonkin reports.
The MRT3 management did a simulation of the train attack in Tokyo, Japan last October to check how they would respond to this kind of situation. A man pretended to stab passengers and started a fire on the train. The police, MMDA, Red Cross, Coast Guard, BFP, and MRT Safety and Security Unit responded. They will assess how the simulation went to check what else needs improvement. But MRT OIC General Manager Michael Kapati says passengers also need to be alert. In case of emergency, they need to push the emergency button thrice to signal the driver that there's a problem inside the train. That's the black button near each exit. Passengers then have to wait for instructions from the driver.
Dapat aware yung ating mga pasahero na minsan kasi may nangyayari sa loob ng train na hindi alam ng driver lalo na malaki. Lumayo na kagad yung mga pasahero doon sa mismong sa senaryo para malilit yung at wag mataranta. Kasi baka mamaya yung paglayo mo, nagbungguan na kayo, may mga nadapa na, mas maraming nai-injure doon sa hindi sa sitwasyon kundi yung sa aftermath ng sitwasyon.
Kapati says the first line of defense are the scanners, where contraband such as grenades, guns, and knives are confiscated before entry. Caroline Bongkin, CNN Philippines.
LRT2 also halted operations today, and beginning tomorrow, the brakes are on for LRT1 and PNR for maintenance activities as well. Commuters can expect PNR operations to resume by Easter Sunday. Other train lines will follow on Monday, April 18th. Disaster response officials say 43 people died because of Agaton. 8 were injured, 7 remain missing. Most of the casualties are from a landslide in Baybay City in Leyte. NDRRMC spokesman Mark Timbal says the reported casualties are still being validated. More than 34,000 individuals had to evacuate. Over 21 million pesos worth of humanitarian aid has been provided to evacuees. Weather Bureau Pag-asa says some parts of the country will continue to experience moderate to heavy rains until tomorrow.
May mga areas din po na flooded pa rin. Kaya po iba yung pag-iingat po ang ating pinapaalala sa mga kababayan natin. Kayo po ay magpatuloy na sumunod at makipag-ugnayan sa ating mga local government units para sa mga gawaing pangkaligtasan.
Agaton, the first storm to wreak havoc in the country this year, weakened into a low-pressure area this morning, which eventually dissipated. Pag-asa says there will be scattered rain showers in Quezon, the Bicol region, Oriental, Mindoro, Marinduque, Romblon, and the Visayas. Let's again check the situation in Baybay City in Leyte. Authorities there saying 62 people have died and scores are still missing, most of them residents of Barangay Cantagnos, ground zero of Agaton's onslaught this weekend. Our Rex Limit joins live. Rex, what do you see?
Well, we reached Barangay Cantagnos here in Baybay City a while ago, just a few hundred meters away from where I am standing right now, and what we saw was utter devastation. It was once a community of hundreds of residents, but when we arrived, the silence was deafening. There was almost nobody in the place when we arrived except for a few people from nearby villages and some heavy equipment digging through mud that fell from the mountain, looking for any sign of life. Rescuers are racing against time. As the hours pass by, their chances of finding survivors are getting bleak.
Kahapon nagpalipad kami ng mga drone doon para malaman kung may mga tao pang kung marinig nila yung drone makakaway, makita kung meron pang naghihintay. So ngayon lang kasi talaga tumigil yung ulan, kaya ngayon makakapasok yung mga responders natin na makita rin nila. Lalo-lalo na doon sa mga perimeter, baka mapasok nila ngayon.
Baybay City Mayor Boying Cari says 90% of the barangay was flattened by the landslide which struck over the weekend. A probe into what may have led to the tragedy is underway.
Itong Barangay Cantagnos kasi, although nasa tabi siya ng river, meron siyang malaking rice field sa likod. Malawak yung rice field nila, saka malayo pa yung bukid. Ang ano lang na 1 kilometer away yung pinanggalingan ng yung lupa na nahulog. Tapos meron siyang momentum na umabot talaga doon sa barangay. Fully saturated na yung lupa, kaya putik yung yung umabot sa kanila.
Survivors have already been evacuated. It's unclear if they will still be allowed to return to Barangay Cantagnos. Some of those who witnessed the disaster spoke to CNN Philippines.
Yung pirmirong putok na may mga nagkaanod ng mga kabinet sa ilog. Ngayon, nagpuntahan na ang mga tao para mag-inspeksyon sa ilang mga pamilya. Ngayon kay sumigun pangalawang beses pagputok, mga lupa naman ang dami tsaka tubig. Kaya yung ibang tao na nadaganan na ng mga puno kasi lahat ng mga puno nangatumba na.
One of their urgent needs now is drinking water. The mayor says the city's water system broke during the floods and it will take weeks before water supply is fully restored. Some residents in the downtown have no choice but to line up for water rations.
Wala na kasi kaming magagamit para pangsaing, yung panghugas. Lang kami sa yung mga deep well kasi ginagamit lang din namin yung panghugas lang.
Para sa ligo, yung pagluto namin, tsaka yung sa bahay, gamit sa bahay, panglinis.
Aside from water, evacuees also need food packs, clothing, blankets, and hygiene kits. Now, time is of the essence, and people here are also hoping that the weather will continue to improve. Back to you, Pia.
Stay safe over there. Rex Remito reporting live from Baybay City in Leyte. Well, still in Leyte, you're looking at footage showing the moment a landslide hit Barangay Pilar in the town of Abuyog, which is just an hour away from Baybay City. Authorities say they have recovered at least 7 bodies of landslide victims from Barangay Pilar and 2 other villages. 128 other people were injured. Over in Western Visayas, nearly the entire province of Capiz is still submerged in floodwaters. Governor Nonoy Contreras made an aerial inspection earlier today to assess the damage to infrastructure and agriculture from Agaton. Rescue operations are underway for stranded residents. Coming up on Newsnight, more reports of banking fraud. We look into one case where the victim allegedly lost almost 100,000 pesos. And in New York, a manhunt is underway after a mass shooting in a crowded subway train. Our consulate also has some advice for Filipinos in the state. Stay tuned to CNN Philippines.
SMC, San Miguel Corporation. Bisag unsang industriya ang sudlan niini, tinguha sa SMC ang pag-uswag o paglambo sa mga Pilipino. Karon, gikan sa SMC, aniya na ang SMC Davao Cement. SMC Davao Cement. Gama sa Davao, para sa Mindanao. SMC Davao Cement. Ato ni Bay.
Exodo, Kabanata 18, versikulo 21. Ngunit pumili ka ng mga taong may kakayahan, may takot sa Diyos, mapagkakatiwalaan, at di masusuhulan. Gawin mo silang tagapangasiwa sa libo-libo, daan-daan, 5-50 at 10-10.
Ang mabuting balita ay hatid sa inyo ng MX3.
Breaking news at this hour, the Food and Drug Administration has approved a second booster dose for senior citizens, the immunocompromised, and frontline healthcare workers. The health department says the additional dose will be given at least 4 months after the first booster shot. Officials are now drafting guidelines for implementation. The latest data show more than 66 million Filipinos have been fully vaccinated, but only 12.4 million have been boosted. This is a developing story. We will bring you more information as soon as they become available. Agriculture Secretary William Dar tells CNN Philippines they have been investigating a, quote, good number of their officials over reports they are allegedly involved in smuggling. Dar says the comprehensive investigation has been going on since last year. He refused to disclose other details since those tagged have the right to due process.
Until we are through with our investigation and we are clear that may ginawang masama or collaboration sa mga smugglers, we will bring this to the open in due time. Wala pong powers to dismiss. I will also recommend this to the President kung dismissal. Depende dun sa gravity ng involvement.
In yesterday's hearing, Senate President Tito Soto named 4 alleged smugglers of agricultural products, adding that, according to whistleblower, DA and customs officials are protecting suspects. Dar says the names did not come up in their investigation, but confirmed that one of them, alleged onion queen Leah Cruz, is a known importer. Senator Cynthia Villar said Cruz was investigated before.
I just want to manifest na noong 2014, nasa listahan na namin yung si Leah Cruz. And blacklist na yan noong 2014 kasi I was chairman of agriculture since 2013. Lumabas na yan sa investigation namin. So parang wala pa lang nangyari na blacklist yan kasi hanggang ngayon lumalabas pa rin yung Leah Cruz about onion.
Sa mga planters din at importer, alam ko yun. Pero kung nang-investigan na previously, bakit hindi inahabla?
After his absence in the last 3 hearings and calls for him to resign, Dar apologized and said he serves at the pleasure of the president. He added the agency has so far confiscated 800 million pesos worth of smuggled vegetables from China. Well, last year, hundreds of Banco de Oro account owners fell victim to online banking fraud. Now, customers of another bank are complaining about losing thousands of pesos to scammers. Tristan Nadalo reports.
20 minutes, that's how long it took for the savings of Leia, not her real name, to disappear from her bank account last March. The nightmare started after she received a call from an alleged bank employee.
Maingat pa ako na tinanong ko ano yung account number ko, tinanong ko anong name, address. Alam nila mismo kung kailan ako nag-open ng bank. Kaya, syempre, niwala ako. Parang alam na nila yung buong data ko eh.
When she felt that something was not right with the call, she immediately tried to stop the transaction.
Tumatawag na ako mismo sa security bank. Unfortunately, sobrang tagal bago nila sinagot yung tawag ko. Minimum yung 30 minutes.
Leia lost almost 100,000 pesos.
Pinagtrabahuhan ko yan for ilang years. Tapos, gagamitin ko siyang pang-tuition. Tapos, nawala lang din bigla.
She claims more people are coming out after falling prey to online scams.
Yung isang babae, manganganak siya, nawalan sila ng malaking amount din. Yung isa naman, may anak siyang may kidney disease. Meron kaming 2 na ikakasal sana. Ipon nilang magnobia. Tapos nawala lang din lahat ng ipon nila.
Leia said that after a series of investigations, the bank refused to return her money.
Dapat secured kami sa pera na nakalagay sa bangko namin. Pero bakit alam ng ibang tao yung account numbers namin? Bakit alam nila kung kailan kami nagbabangko? Bakit alam nila yung home address?
In a statement sent to CNN, Philippine Security Bank said they thoroughly investigate reports of fraud. They said they have also listed down initiatives to protect customers, including releasing advisories in all of their platforms. The statement added that they have also invested in new technologies to boost their cybersecurity. The bank also said they are working with banking organizations to spread awareness about cybercrimes. More bank customers are falling to the same modus. Last December, close to 700 BDO bank account owners complained that they had been victims of online fraud. In 2021, the Bankers Association of the Philippines said an estimated 1 billion pesos were lost to online bank schemes. In 2020, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas reported that 13% of 20,000 consumer complaints were due to unauthorized and fraudulent transactions. Tristan Dalo, CNN Philippines.
The BSP says it will look into the refund process and the possible data breach in banks. Also advises customers to be more vigilant.
SMC San Miguel.
An official at the Commission on Elections denies there is infighting as fellow commissioners take opposing sides on granting exemptions to the election gun ban. Commissioner George Garcia also says Socorro Inting stays as the chairperson of the gun ban committee despite resignation as the co-body defers consideration on her irrevocable move. On Tuesday, Inting stepped down as panel head to protest the en banc vote, allowing Chairman Saidamen Pangarungan to exempt certain cases from the gun ban and to place an area under COMEC control. In solidarity, two commissioners who voted against Pangarungan's special powers, Amy Ferolino and Marlon Casquejo, wore black in today's en banc meeting.
Wala pong mga kuro-kuro na infighting, may na-divided na ang commission, hindi po totoo yun. We deferred consideration of the resignation of Commissioner Inting out of respect sa kanya. Walang sinasabi nila, yung mga may discussion, I can honestly tell you with God as my witness, walang vehement objection, reactions, or whatever. Napaka-solemn ng aming discussion doon at naging maayos yung aming talakayan patungkol sa issue na yun.
The other COMEC officials who voted in favor of the chairman's special powers include Pangarungan himself, as well as new commissioners George Garcia, Amy Neri, and Ray Bulay. On to the presidential candidates, 60 retired officials of the Philippine National Police and its forerunner, the Philippine Constabulary, have expressed strong support for Vice President Leni Robredo's candidacy. They said Robredo's peace and order advocacy resonates with them, including her approach to continuing the drug war, which is through education and rehabilitation. The retired police officers also holding on to Robredo's commitment to strengthen the criminal justice system and to beef up the police force. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno refusing to back out of the presidential race to give way to Robredo. Moreno dismissed calls from former supporters to make the, quote, supreme sacrifice and dared unnamed rivals to do it instead.
Ang pinakamaganda, siguro, yung hindi na nag-grow na kandidato dahil they're talking to their own echo chamber should also do the same. Supreme sacrifice. But my supreme sacrifice is here today. This is the sacrifice. Despite of misimpression, misperception, or perception or impression that the other side of the river is doing and creating in your eyes, in your mind, this is the sacrifice. I'm going to sacrifice myself to address yung problema ng taong bayan.
Senator Manny Pacquiao downplayed the One Cebu Party's endorsement of former Senator Bongbong Marcos. Pacquiao said he is confident of getting the support of Visayans because he speaks their language.
Hindi ko makuha yung suporta ng mga halos incumbent ng mga Bisaya, yung mga nakaupo, kahit sa buong Pilipinas. Pero ang suporta ng majority ng suporta ng mga mahihirap sa akin.
Labor leader Caliodi de Guzman calling on the Education Department to bring back history classes to the curriculum after Pinoy Big Brother housemates called the Gomburza Brothers Majoha, labor leader, or the Gomburza priests. The labor leader says the seemingly small error reflects how vulnerable the youth is to historical revisionism and fake news. In 2014, DepEd removed Philippine history from the grades 7 and 8 curriculum and replaced it with Asian studies. 3 more candidates will join the 11th CNN Philippines Senatorial Forum. Watch them side by side as they bear their platforms and stand on issues. That's on Sunday, April 17 at 7 in the evening with senior correspondent and anchor Ruth Cabal only here on CNN Philippines. News overseas now. The Philippine Consulate General reminds Filipinos in New York to take extreme caution as the search for the suspect in the subway shooting incident in Brooklyn continues. New York police have identified one person of interest, Wisconsin resident Frank James. These are pictures of his last known address in Milwaukee. James' ties to New York are unclear. The suspect, still at large, opened fire at the 36th Street subway station on Tuesday, hitting at least 10 people. Several others were hurt in the chaos that followed. Straight ahead on Newsnight, updates on the thrilling Game 4 of the PBA Governors Cup Finals. Plus, Netflix drops a new trailer for Stranger Things Season 4. We'll give you a peek after the break.
Kung kinaya ni Heidelin, kaya nyo rin.
SMC, San Miguel Corporation. Bisag unsang industriya ang sudlan niini, tinguha sa SMC ang pag-uswag o paglambo sa mga Pilipino. Karon, gikan sa SMC, aniya na ang SMC Davao Cement. SMC Davao Cement. Gama sa Davao, para sa Mindanao. SMC Davao Cement. Ato ni Bay.
With the Meralco Bolts fighting to earn their third win against Barangay Ginebra. So far, the teams are tied at 19 points. Oh, okay, let's correct that now. It's 19-21, Ginebra 21 points in the lead in the first quarter. If the Bolts win, though, they only need one more victory to bag the Governor's Cup title, which would be their first PBA title. But Ginebra's already captured wins of its own, with Scotty Thompson nabbing Best Player of the Conference and Justin Brownlee being named Best Import. Stay tuned to our social media platforms for more updates. On the small screen, a lot more has been revealed about Season 4 of Netflix sci-fi hit Stranger Things. In the newly released trailer, we catch Site 11 supposedly losing her powers and a mysterious villain from the Upside Down. Take a look. Stranger Things 4 comes out in 2 parts. Volume 1 premieres May 27th. Volume 2 is out on July 1st. And that is it for now. Before we go, we'd like to thank our viewers. CNN Philippines once again named the most trusted media outlet in Publicus Asia's latest survey. Stay safe, have a blessed Holy Week, and see you on Monday. I'm Pio Ontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.